How are you doing, bud? A soft re-entry into the live streaming market for me. Just setting up, but had a go for a ray this morning. It's obviously very early. Well, it's not very early. It's early for me because I'm lazy. So, been gathering myself there. I wasn't really expecting to see anybody, to be honest about it. So, a nice surprise. It kind of caught me unawares. But I've come up for a ray. There is rays being caught in this area. Hopefully a stinger. Marco, how you doing, bud? We're up early on a Sunday morning. But how times change, huh? I'm gonna have a go for a ray. Hopefully a stinger. But really anything will do. Especially with the live stream on. Adds a bit of pressure. Because I'm lazy as sin when I come out fishing. Usually it's like, it'll do, and don't have the rigs, don't have the gear, and you know yourself, laziness takes over then. So it does. But come out, I've been getting a few mackerel lately. Been on for donkeys. But you can see this one's had a bit of a scalp taken out of it. I was fishing the last day and I got a fresh mackerel. So I said to myself, like, there's no point in putting it back or dumping it with one little piece taken out of it. So I just froze it down. So hopefully today I can reuse it and get a fish. Oh, it is freezing cold as well. In a move of sheer brilliance. I don't know if anybody saw my video or my picture yesterday on my page. I went out for a couple of hours to hopefully try and get a mullet. Now, it wasn't ideal conditions, and it's a place that I've never actually got a mullet before, so it was a bit of a wild goose chase. But what I did do is I forgot my jacket. I got soaked. So I got so badly soaked, I went home in my waders, and I put the waders into the shade. So if I do get a good fish today, I am absolutely going to get soaked. So I'm going to start off with mackerel. I have some eels. And if the weed is bad in close, but if I can stay out of it, I'm going to put out a second rod as well. I missed whose comment that was there. A second. About maybe coming down today. It looks good, to be honest about it now. It looks good for a ray. Tide's dropping on till lunchtime. But if you were coming down, I don't think it's a wasted venture. Weather-wise, certainly not anyway. Not compared to yesterday, it was miserable. So it was. It rained on and off all day yesterday around here. Now I'm going to go with, like I said, mackerel. I'm not going with a massive bait. There's been a good few rays come out around this area. So, and I know the guys, a few of the guys that got them aren't blasting it out over the horizon, so I'll go with a flapper. But I do have a couple more options there, so I do. Really should get a bit of patience and wait for the mackerel to thaw a bit, but sure, who's got time for that? So yeah, that's the thing. Haven't been on YouTube in ages, and I haven't done a live since the lockdowns, so a bit out of practice. But we'll give it an hour and a half anyway. We're ready for action. The short 2-hook flapper, nice long snoods. Let's see what happens. Now, as you will know, absolutely vital to second out, see, can I adjust you a small bit? See the tip? Can you see the tip there? The sun is, there's no real sun, but trying to keep you out of the wind and in the action. So it's hard to do it all. Hardcore fishermen of Hull. Bank holiday Sunday. It's a bank holiday here in Ireland. I'm not too sure about your lads, but yeah, it's hard to get the Sunday morning fishing in after the pub. But I refrained last night. I was very good. Stayed home. So I did. Derrymore, Marco. Declan, it does look good. It does look good for a ray today now, to be honest. I had a small toke the last day on down Derrymore. Only a few pounds, but it was nice to get one all the same. I'm going to get the second rod set up, sure, I may as well as I'm here. What I've got here is my old Century, and I don't know if this obviously happens to all rods as they get older, but the spigot is loose. There's only 9 people watching, but this is a very good little tip to get an extra bit of life out of your old spigot. You can go in and buy carbon sprays and all them things, but inevitably they're a pain in the arse. So take your bait elastic, some of the thicker variety stuff. The kind of light match stuff isn't really much good for it, but give it a few winds around your spigot, and then there you go. All of a sudden you're back to having a real tight spigot and plenty left. So small little tip there for you, for anyone interested. I have a 3-hook clip down on the second rod, or there I'm going to put on the second rod. I'm going to give that a bit of a wheelie. It's a 3-hook clip down, but much bigger hooks than usual for me, especially for my clip downs. Again, 6-ounce lead, just for extra distance. I don't know why the chats keep disappearing. Christopher L. It's that's a Yuki Sublime, and it's a Shimano Aero Technium. So it's a fancy setup. The other rod is my old trusty Century BB, and an Aero Technium as well. I was going to use the Yuki Bosphorus, but I brought the wrong rod. Picked up the wrong rod on the way out the door. So I did. So let's put a halt to that. So it has. But there's a good chance of dogs here, good chance of rays, painted, stinger. So really happy with anything on the live stream. Don't have to be too picky on the live stream. Now what I do have though is some really nice eels for this. So I am hoping to pick up something. Have some lugs and some maddies as well. But like I said, the rod I brought is a quite light rod. So with that weed on the edge, it's really asking for a lot of trouble to use it. So I'm going to hold off, despite really wanting to. It would be really cool to get a stinger on the live. We have had them before, of course, but not for a long time now. So I'm going to go 2 eels and a mackerel bait on this one. The man in Hull. I'm assuming that's taupe you mean. Geez, if you're getting bites then you're definitely not far off. I got some rigs made up by a guy. They're only hook lengths, but they have the circle hooks on them. I really do recommend having a go at that, especially if you're getting bites but not hooking up. Then I'd give the circle hooks a go. Just remember you don't strike into them. But I would really think about giving them a go if that's happening you. So what are you thinking? Am I going to get one? Am I going to get a fish? We used to do 90-minute ones during lockdown. Just so that, because of the time restraints on exercising and all that, during those crazy times. But 3 very substantial baits going out there now. Trim them up for a bit of aerodynamics. There's not too many walkers or swimmers here this morning, so plenty dog walkers, but they're all going up the other side, thankfully. So hopefully that remains the case. Oh. So a 3 hook clip down, not an overly long one. So it's not. Hopefully manage to get a fish out of it. I'm gonna get my finger stalled actually. Vital for a bit of distance casting, unless you want to lose some skin off your fingers. So as you can see, 3 substantial enough baits. Get this out and get back to the comments. Now, as you'll be able to see there, I got the rods up right high. There's a lot of weed in the edge. So it's going to make moving around more than awkward. It's going to make it really fucking awkward, to be honest about it. And inevitably what's going to happen is, if I do get a fish and a slack line, it's going to go straight into that weed. So I'm just going to have to keep a real close eye on them. My main trouble is going to come when I have to move my rod from here down. With the weed, as far as I can tell, the weed is only in the first about 10 meters. So once I avoid that, I should be good. I'm not sure if you can see it, but the left rod does seem to be doing a bit of twitching. I'm concerned that that is starting to pick up a bit of weed now. I'm going to start making my move now. Now obviously, two rod stands would make this a hell of a lot easier, but I don't have 2 rod stands, so I'll use the sand spike. I'll probably turn you guys around a bit too. Patience is definitely key here. So I'm just thinking, if I leave the 2 of them quite high there, then we should be able to see them. I'm going to get you guys on fishing rod watch. Hopefully it's not too windy on you. And I'm going to move the Jeep. No, I think that should do us for a bit. That kind of bit of a manoeuvre there now. Get you back up on the car so I can see a bit of it. So I don't know why the chat keeps. John Taylor, good morning. I'm not too overly confident, but at the same time, it beats dying in bed with a hangover, so I'll have a go at it. Mike Costello, it depends really. Stingrays like to come into the shallows, so I don't go overly nuts with the stingrays, but it depends on your area. If there's a channel outside, like it's really important to know your area. Like for argument, for instance, now I know that on the right hand side of me it's sand and then rock, so I'm quite tight to the left hand side here, which has the rocks. So I'm hoping that the fish have come in along the rocks and are feeding. So I'll vary the distances. The left rod is a kind of an overhead thump. I'm hoping to get the stinger on that, and the right rod is a bit more effort, and I'm hoping for a painted on that. That's why I have the sand eels on one and mackerel on the other. So sand eels for the painted, mackerel for the stingers. Now obviously I'd like to have some crab, but that's just not happening. Unfortunately, I don't have any crab. Chris Angler, good morning. For any of you lads watching, that's the young guy there that's just commented. Chris, he's fishing his socks off lately. He has a channel as well, so it's well worth checking out. Like myself, he's only new to it, but he's going to be real good someday. He's had some really good catches lately as well. An Atlantic Sourie from the shore. So Sourie are like blueies for anyone not familiar with them. And I think I've only heard of a handful. The other guy that's had a few is like captain of the World Boat Championships team. He's had a few in Cork. So a real big achievement to get one of those. Especially for a guy doing a species hunt. I also forgot my coffee inside the car, so that's quite cold now. Christopher Ale, I wouldn't be messing around. If you are thinking about getting it, get it, because I know for a fact that might be the last. I don't know for a fact that that's the last one, but I know for a fact they are hard to come by. And at one stage there was a 6 or 8 month wait list for them. So if you do have one, and if you're thinking about it and you have the readies, I wouldn't be delaying, because they're tough enough to find. I think Josie might have a few, maybe Rory Coleman has a few, but I don't know that for a fact. But I get my second trace ready with all my talking. Now the thing that I both love and hate about the sand spike is, obviously it's very mobile, but the other problem is anything that even comes near it makes it rattle like mad. So it looks like you've got a great bite, but in reality there might be no such thing. Just a small bit of wind throws it all over the place. So it does. So I'm going to keep the flappers on the Sublime and fish for the raising closer. I might plan a bit of worm bait as well on this barely. We'll see what happens. So, mackerel is thawing out nicely now. So the baits will look a lot better. I got these mackerel off the pier in Phoenix. For anyone who was trying to get a few mackerel for their freezer, there's a few starting to show up now. Early morning seems to be best. But I got them. I did get them in the evening, but I was using pop-ups, and it worked out tremendously well for me. To be honest, I was delighted. So I'm going to try and vary stuff here. I have always thought that this was an area that there was a good chance of a gilthead. As you will know, we don't get them around here really. So I'm going to put one big mackerel bait out and 2 worm baits on the Sublime now, and just vary things up, see what we can get. See if we can get anything really. I am fishing with a gripper on the this flapper as well. That is just to keep, just to be sure that it doesn't fall into the weed for me. Just in case. Now, I don't think there's anything on this, but just in case. Got excited there for a couple of seconds, I won't lie to you. But my grips just didn't give up. And a chunk of weed as well. I thought there was going to be something on that. I really did think there was going to be a bit of action there. As you can see, gripper never gave up. Not the end of the world though. The sun is starting to come out here. Well, it's trying to come out, I should say. But the plus side, no crab action on that one, which tells us hopefully the spider crabs are over the other side. Because for anyone who has fished Tralee Bay, you'll know of the scourge that is the spider crabs. They can really ruin a day's fishing on you. There's not half enough people eating them. comments now. They said you can see the rod kind of slightly move on the left. Yeah, the Fury, there's a good few lads love the Furies. I haven't used them, to be honest about it now, so it would be very unfair of me to pass comment. But yeah, there seems to be a lot of guys who don't like them. Martin that's involved with, or that owns Inova, he has his shop just in Tralee, so be good old friends with Martin, except when we're fishing. But other than that, no, it's great to see brands taking off and going well, so it is. Just try to get through. Yeah, I really am hoping to get a couple. Hey Mark, yeah, oh, that's no problem, man. Like I always say, it's great we're all fishing together. Like if you give a bit of information to a guy when he comes to visit your area, when you go to his area, he's definitely more inclined to help you out a little bit. Like, so I always try to help people coming to visit Tralee. God knows it's expensive enough to do anything these days. So if you can help someone get a few fish, maybe it might help out their trip, improve their trip a little bit. So I always try and help when I can. But the ominous looking cloud behind the rods there now, so it is. Stanley, how you doing, man? Yeah, do you know what? I've been out, I've had a good few fish on camera, but I just can't seem to put a beginning, middle and end together for a video. I've missed clips, I've had fish on, and you know, I just can't seem to get something together for a video, so I might have to do a best of catches one kind of thing. Where are you heading for the smoothies? I heard there was a huge one caught in Tralee Bay, 16 pounds something. I think it was Darren Griffin. If I'm right, Darren's from all the way up north. He's up in Donegal. But yeah, 16 pound smooth hound. There's some fish. They've started to come into Tralee Bay more and more over the last couple of years, but they seem to be massive ones. They don't seem to be any like 3 and 4 pounders at all, only all real big ones. So that's not something to complain about, really, is it? Tony, it's going well. I'm out for rays today, lads, I should say. So I don't know how much I get the dropping tide, which wouldn't be really favourable here. But I'm going to give it a go I'm going to give it 90 minutes anyway, an hour. So I'm a third of the way in on the video. It's nice to be out. The beaches are deserted. There's no, especially in August bank holiday, this will start to get real busy real quick, especially if that sun comes through. I have to say that most of my August bank holiday Sunday mornings were not spent fishing on the beaches. I'll stick with mackerel on the 2-hook flapper. So I am. See if we can't tempt out something with it. Had a few garfish during the week as well. But do love fishing for the garfish, especially on the pop-ups and things. Which is a million miles away from this. I've been trying to get one of the Balians wrasse. They look like cork wings, but with pink wings. They don't obviously have wings. Feather fins, pink fins. For the species hunt. Fiona's been having them. Paddy's had a few. Brahim as well. So everyone seems to be getting them except me, so I have to really up my game in that department. See, can I catch up with them? I joined the Southside Species Hunt. But to say that I'm a long way behind is an understatement. Lads on 45 and 46 species already after a month. The only thing is though, they're going to run out of species very quickly. Well, in the next 20 or so. And then it will become a long drive around for them to try and get them. So, not to panic. I've been out on the boat a few times. I've been trying to figure out the logistics of a live stream on the boat. Don't know if anybody'd be interested in that. Don't want to be getting lads seasick inside in their sitting room, like. But 2-hook flapper ready now. Nice mackerel sausages. What size is my finger I'm going with? See if we can't tempt out something. I'll put that one up higher again because I've gone to there's a river just comes out to my right here. So I've gone over the kind of corner of the river, and my hopes are that I get I do get some good ray fishing over that side, but there is a hell of a lot of weed on the beach, so just trying to stay out of that. It's obviously being pushed up and down the river all evening, all night or all morning. So we're trying to avoid that, obviously. As you can see, I'm picking up a bit of weed on the way in. So it's not the most enjoyable. Makes it a bit hard to do the video on as well. My lovely sandy is wasted. I've decided I'm going to put on 3 slightly smaller baits on this one and add a bit of distance. See what happens with that. You have to just vary your approach. There's no point in coming out and spending 2 or 3 hours just casting into the same spot, just hoping for a fish to come along. Like, I don't mean chop and change every 2 minutes, but like, work the area in front of you. And don't be afraid to move as well, like, because if there is nothing happening, you're only wasting your own day hanging around, like. Probably taking all this advice for someone who can't catch any fish. Stanley, 16 pounds is the goal, is right. Brian, cheers, man. Peter, how's it going? I could ask you, where's all the fish after all the fish you had there a couple of weeks ago? Definitely got a bit excited there. When I turned around, the rod, the left was just moving, but it's obviously blown a little, just a slight bit higher on the wind. So that was jumped the gun there. That's the problem with having the rod so high up. Even the slightest bit of wind affects them, but also the slightest bite affects them as well. So if you do get a bite, you'll know straight away because the rod will really poop over. So there is good and bad parts to it. Now that tide is dropping annoyingly fast, so it is. So what I'm going to do is, please. Paul, how's it going? The bay's been fishing well and poor, if that makes any sense. Some guys have been having a lot of luck, and then others not so much, and I can't really put my finger on why. it is this time of year is a bit, like, I'd much rather be here in September than the end of July. It just seems to be, I don't know, is it because it's such a shallow bay and the sun and the heat and all that, does it push the fish out? I don't really know why it doesn't fish as well. Plus, I suppose the fish can't feed all year round. So you have the May, June run, and like, I suppose they can't just go nuts all the time, like. So maybe it slows down a bit. September again now, but hopefully there should be a few around still, like. Coffee is absolutely freezing. So that was a waste of about €3 for a coffee. I'm going to move back, and I'm hopefully going to reverse nice and carefully and you don't fall. And that's a bit more civilized. £16. Yeah, for anyone who's just joined, I was just saying there that there was a £16 £16 smooth-hound caught in Tralee Bay. I think it was during the week. So that's a big fish on anyone's, by anyone's reckoning. I think the Irish record, about 20 something pounds. But John has the boat. I'm not even too sure, is there separate boat and shore ones. So I remember Dean Quigley, he had the record at one stage. John Hughes had a record, but one was on the shore and one was on the boat. So I don't know what way the Irish records work. Is it just the one record, you know? But there's been no record broken today, so far. So there hasn't. But we'd settle for anything now at this stage, just to prove that we still got it. I'm starting to think I should have maybe waited to keep the live stream until I was getting a couple of fish. Hardly a great comeback. That's the beauty of ray fishing though. Like, you're not fishing for 10, 12 and 15 fish, like you're fishing for maybe 1 or 2 or 3 at best, hoping that one of them is a fish of a lifetime, like, which is quite possible anywhere along here. There's a guy, he's down in South Kerry, Blaze, had one here, definitely frightened the old the record, so it would. A big fish, well in excess of 50 pounds. Hard to know without the scales, obviously, because the stingers do vary so much, but it's a big fish. Tell you what, I'd be delighted if I got it. But I can't complain. I've had a lot of luck over the last couple of years on the stingers, so can't be jealous of other people getting a few. So is anyone else doing a bit of fishing today, or what's the crack? Any big competitions coming up? We have Barrow next weekend. It's down, it's across the bay there actually. Flounders, turbot, chance of a bass and a painted as well. But most likely flounders and turbot will be the quarry on the day. Hopefully anyway. Can get weavers there. For anyone who's seen my weaver fish video, it's that beach. So hopefully not a lot of weavers and a lot of fish. No, so I'm going to get that. We're on the left in. These rig wreckers was severely wrapped up in that. We fished a match here a few years ago at the place. There was a lot of these eels. It's a green eel or a river eel, but he's taking a big hook, so he has. But it's a fish. Loading. Trust in the eel to make hail of your trace. Now, if you picture the way he is there, he came in sideways, and I thought for a second it was a big turbot. All I saw was the big brown and then a big flash of white underneath it. And I just thought to myself, oh gee, it's a massive turbot. Well, a massive, but a 2 or 3 pound turbot. But no, Just an eel that's destroyed my trace. Severely destroyed my trace, in fact. I can feel the hook down the side of it. Yeah, all he's doing is just wrapping it up. Now obviously these fish are protected, so I wasn't trying to catch them. But they are quite prolific around this area. And if he'd stopped fighting me, he'd already be released, but that's not the way of the eel, is it? Thank God for the old cloths. I have no idea how I'm going to get this hook on just for that. Big order. No. I wonder if I'm going to be able to take a photo with you guys still on there. If I put this up here on silver eel, will I be able to screen grab that? Say tuna. I don't know. Will I be able to screen grab it? Who knows? 1 hour in. I'm going to get him back straight away. So I did not cover myself in glory there with the size of the fish, but I would like it noted that it was a fish for the official archives. Will it count in the species hunts? I don't really know, but we'll find out shortly. Knocked over all my bait over here as well as I was trying to get my card out. Yeah, so that's destroyed my trace pretty fantastically. But you will remember when I was turned around there, I did say I thought that the rod on my left had bounced. Brendan O'Connor, yeah, well, I haven't been out. The species hunt only started. Welcome aboard as well. The species hunt only started in June. July. So I started in July, the two of them. So I haven't been able to get them. But I haven't been fishing anywhere that you do get them really. I had planned a trip to the spa to just knock one off the list, but I haven't got around to it, you know. Like I said, I don't know if they'll count in the species hunt. One of them is a code word. You're supposed to, you can write it down or just say it in a video. That tuna obviously is the word. I wasn't just declaring my love for tuna. And the other one then is the Southside Hunt, which had the card. So I'd have to go back and try and screen grab that. And hopefully that works. But as the sun comes up, you can see, well, maybe you can't see, I can see, if you see that line of the water line there, for about 40 meters, it's fairly severe flood water, so that was a bit of a mistake on my side. I really don't think I'm going to get a ray here with that going on. So that was a foolish move by me. So I'm going to give another half an hour, and I'm going to move down then, I think. I'm going to move down away from the river. Coverage might not be very good below there. And in that half an hour I may have this bottom snood fixed. But yeah, that's number 23 for the season. Well, for the month. Which isn't so bad, I suppose. A few visitors coming down next week as well. So I'm really hoping to knock off a few of the more spectacular ones then. Like I said, it would be cool to be able to get a live stream on the boat, but motion sickness and all that kind of stuff, for me and for you, could be a problem. It's funny how one little eel changes the mood. I was obviously nervous of not getting any fish at all. Yeah, like I said, now there's a lot of that river water, fresh water. You can see it's made the inner part of the water there very brown, and when the sun comes out, you can really see it. So I don't think I'm going to get any rays in that. Not any of the rays I want anyway. Yeah, and as the tide drops, it's really pushing it out. So I might put an end to our session. Try to put a lug again on this one. Might tip it with a bit of mackerel, see can we lure out any of the big flounders around this area. But yeah, it was definitely bad decision making to go there. An eel to save the day. So we get the one on the right changed now. Now, I do think that I am wasting my time a good bit here now that I can see that. Oh. Kieran Kelly, good morning. Paul McNamara. Ooh, I've seen Honda Civics drive onto Derrymore. I personally would not be taking anything on that didn't have four-wheel drive capability. The guys that drive on with the cars, they don't care if they don't get them back off again. They have buddies around with Jeeps and they'll drag them in if they need to. But they come down the beach very quickly. So unless you were willing to lose it, I wouldn't be bringing it on anything without four-wheel drive capability. Personally, that is no. Like I said, I have seen lads with them, but I wouldn't myself anyway. I think it's a massive, massive gamble. So it is. Kieran, yeah, just the eel. I've been fishing just about 50 minutes, but I didn't realise that there's so much flood water come down the river. And I don't know why I didn't realise it. I got soaked in the rain yesterday for 2 hours, so I don't know why I didn't realise that this was going to happen. So yeah, it's taken a lot of my confidence away now, so it has. So I think I have a choice. Well, there's 21 watching at the moment. Sticking it out here is a waste of time, I know that for a fact. So do I pack up rough and move down the beach about 500 meters, which does not look bad at all, I must say, or do I give up altogether on the live stream and go away to another spot maybe, and I won't have coverage there enough. I'd love to do a live stream off the pier just across the way, but to say that I'd be broke up would be the understatement of the century. I'd have to spend my entire life saying that's actually on live there, you know. But that'll definitely have to be an early morning one. What do you think? Move down the beach, continue the stream, or give up the ghost? So give us a comment, let us know what you think. Me tidying up myself here after that eel. Spider crabs are starting to appear, I'd say. The snood looks a bit munched up. Now there is obviously every chance that there is a ray still around here, but that kind of weedy flood water, I wouldn't be personally very confident of it. It's different in the places like the Shannon where flood water is an everyday or every week thing, whereas this place, they can just move back out of the flood water so easily. In the Shannon they have to obviously go miles to get out of it. What are the comments saying? Kieran, it's the Yuki Sublime is on my left. I don't know what way that will come up on your screen. And that's the one with the gold looking trim. The one I had the fish on is the Yuki Sublime. The other one is the Century. My old buddy got me so many fish. The old Century BB. It's a bit long in the tooth now, but I did get it rebuilt by Mike Roach down in Waterford, and I was thrilled with the job. old gullies, I suppose. Yeah, I got it rebuilt by Mike, and I was very happy with it. So I was. But it's hard to do. As I said, a live stream and feed it would be good because there'd be fish every, I won't say every cast, but practically every cast. Like, and there'd be plenty to show off, especially on the small species side of things. But so a bank holiday Sunday on the pier, all the lads that were out last night, out for a walk with the family, asking questions. All the people that are waiting to go to barbecues and the pub and trying to avoid the mother-in-law, all wanting to stop for a chat. So it would be very, very tough. On the other side, if the weed isn't bad down further, I would be able to put out the small rod as well. There's nobody walking or swimming down there today. Not yet anyway. Not until they wake up and realise that it's actually quite a nice day here. So I think what I'm going to do is I'll pack up my stuff as best I can, as neat as I can. My bait, things like that. And I think we'll head down the beach. It doesn't have to be overly neat because it's only a short trip. So I did is I baited up my second trace there, just to have it ready. Yeah, I think down the beach. Why not? Sure. Don't have too much longer left in today's session anyway, so I may as well fish away for a while. It will be a rough and ready move. I'm sure you don't care about that, do you? It's the beauty of the 4x4 as well. So the left rod without the first rod. And the baits are untouched. So there. They haven't been out there incredibly long either. Trying to organise my rigs so I can just pull them back out again without destroying the whole place. It's only going to be a short move, so I don't even think there's any need to cut off the camera. down the ground for a minute. On rod watching duty. Trying to walk into the rod. Now the fun starts. So we're just going down there, so it's not that far. Try and put you in here. So just bear with me. Hopefully it won't be too long of a trip. So this is what I was talking about earlier about moving. Like I can stick it out there for the rest of the day, but I really don't think I'm going to get anything out of it. So I don't. If I go down here, there's no river coming out down here, and I really hope that there'll be a fish. A few fish anyway. You do get more dogs down here, but you know what? How bad that'll be now for the old live stream. I don't know if you're falling over there, if you can see. It's turned into a lovely day here now. It's saying 15 degrees on the car. Still see a bit of flood water there, so we're just going to keep going until we get out of that, really, is the plan. And the good thing about the sun being up high, or getting up high already, is that you can see where the reefs are around here. So where we're going to, there's a good chance of a bass, good chance of a ray, good chance of losing a bit of gear. So there's a good chance of a lot of stuff happening. So there is. So hopefully something comes about. as I said, with the sun so high up in the sky, if you look in the water, you'll be able to see where the weed is, where the rocks are, and you want to get a patch in. Obviously, this is like you want to get a patch in between the rocks so that you can fish away, and hopefully the fish are feeding in and amongst the rocks, you know. So if you can get that spot, then you give yourself a great opportunity of getting a few fish out of it. So you do, but you also have to be careful of the clouds making shapes in the water or making shadows in the water. So you're there thinking you're doing a great thing by avoiding these rocks, when in actual fact what you're doing is you're avoiding clouds reflecting on the ground or on the water. So go a little bit fast here, disturb these poor old fellas. Sorry guys. Don't poop on my car. No. As I said, I get down to here now. This is an area where there's a bit of everything. There's a bit of mixed rock outside us. Go just another little bit down. Another little bit. An area of mixed kind of rock and sand. So hopefully the fish are in this area and they're hungry. Oh, that should do us, I'd say. It looks pretty clean in there as well, so we might even be able to use a smaller rod. Figure out which way the wind is coming for the camera. Oh, you're falling over. Straighten up yourselves, lads. Suck the pump ahead. Now we're not going to hang around here. Get going quickly. Action time. So, rotate device after capsizing. Just that's fair bit for hanging around. We're going to get a bit more wind. Brian, how are we doing, man? I'm just going to get this pretty simple. What the heck's going on there? Hold on, it wants me to put on a filter. We do not need any filters. Oh no. We're pressing buttons, lads, so don't mind saying it. Oh gosh. No. I've made a bit of a move, so I'm just going to put you guys down here for a minute and I'm going to get straighten up, lads. I think there's stingers in front of me. don't know if you're going to be able to see this now, alright? See just here? Now I could be completely wrong there. There was definitely one, if not two. So if you can see that, obviously it'd be handy if you could talk back to me. Definitely one just moving off there. Oh, it's quite possible there's some balls of weed attached to that as well, but... Oh jeez, I nearly walked into my right. Sorry now guys, I'm just trying to get you straightened up a bit. How does that look? Could you see that, lads? I don't know. See, I don't know. Can you see any of those? Harry, how's it going, bud? I hope you do get to go out fishing, especially before the summer holidays are over. I don't know. Could you see those shapes in the water? Yeah, Brittany, you're right there. Yeah, I need more sleep, maybe. You know, could you see those? Could you see the shapes? Oh, it's every bit possible that. I know that some of them are weed, but there was certainly at least two stingrays there. The proof will be in the pudding. In another 10 minutes, we'll be able to. We'll find out, because there'll either be still rocks there with weed on them, or there won't be, and I'll just look a little bit silly. But I've often made a show of myself. And if a fella can't get excited over seeing a few stingrays, or at least convincing himself he's seen a few stingrays, what can he get excited over? Now, it is well known that the stingrays do come in and sunbathe, and it's certainly a day for it, because the sun is out now, and the sun is on the water, so there's no reason why they wouldn't be out sunbathing, you know. But the problem is though, when they are out sunbathing, they're generally not feeding. We'll get this one out a bit further. Really did think that there were stingers there. I was hoping for one to just take off immediately, you know. But we moved spot, and I'm an awful lot more confident around here. Whatever about me though and my trials and tribulations. Spare a thought for Shane McMahon, who's building cabinets at home. Yeah, so those cabinets have to be built too. Now, I have the light rod out, and this is a really light rod. It's rated 1 to 3 ounce, so it is. So it's not made for any messing. What I'm hopefully going to get on this is a schoolie, or obviously a big bass would be nice too. In fact, I'll take anything at all. Flounder, schoolie, unicorn, anything. I'm scared to go back and look in the water again just in case it was actually weed. But I have a few small maddies that I picked up there a couple of days ago. I tried the maddies and the maddies in a small lug on this one. Now the setup couldn't be more opposite of the other gear that I'm using. Just a simple 2-hook rig, fluorocarbon, small hooks, that kind of stuff. We'll see how that one goes. Major excitement. So now we've got 3 rods out in the hopes of getting something. I did have a sneaky look when I went over, and I definitely think that there was one. Yeah, wouldn't it be my luck that there is a stinger, he'd take the size 8s. Oh, it's probably selling next, I can't see nothing here. I suppose if I take off the old sunglasses I might be able to read up a few. See, I got another one of the lads there, Brian. Got Brian the nervous angler. has a bit of a channel started. I assume he started up anyway. I see some nice artwork by him. So give that a check out. Brian's a long way north of me, so he is. But there's great fishing around there as well. Yeah, I don't think that they're... Yeah, just look at there now. There was certainly two there, but not as many as I had hoped, unfortunately. So what can you do though? Like, all you gotta do is take a chance. I said when they're in the shallows like this, they generally are sunbathing rather than feeding. But that's not to say that there's not going to be another one come by. So, but on the plus side, the sun is out. See if I can't find a suitable rig in my box of tricks. Now this is going to be a smaller one with smaller hooks. I'm just going to bang it out and see if we can't locate something. We would go with two nice small mackerel baits, I think, and a love tip with mackerel. I think they are size 6s by the looks of them, so I'm going to cut my baits to measure. So you don't want to have a gigantic bait and a small hook, because almost inevitably you will get a better fish and it'll be lost. Your bait will be lost in the your hook will be lost in the small bait. So I always try and match my bait up to the size of the hooks that I'm using. So we're going to go mackerel on the bottom, mackerel on the middle, and lug on the top. Now, a lot of guys say, oh, I don't like baiting up small baits. see the size of that. It is only small, but these boys they're dingers for this. All I do is lay it on top of it, like so. Take your elastic and just nice and patient. And the start just means everything. If you put on a couple of, I do like to put a fair bit of elastic on. I know some guys hate it, and in some areas it really does affect the fishing. So what I do is I put on too much probably, but it gives you these nice baits. And when you're going to whack it, a nice streamlined bait can really help. Lean up and see that. A nice streamlined bait really help that. So like I said, trying to get maybe a live stream on the boat, but I don't even know how it would work. Like, would people just be destroyed from the motion? Because it, like, I don't know, I don't have any gimbals or anything like that, or any way of stabilizing it, you know. Although I'd have to do some. Anyone familiar with the GoPros? I know you can live stream off of them. So with that, I know they have that super stabilization thing, which is pretty cool. So maybe that would be the way to go. Anybody ever live streamed off of a GoPro? Let me know. I'm assuming that you're keeping an eye on the rods there as well, lads. But I'm waffling on. I was going to tip the lug off with mackerel, but I'm going to put on just a plain lug, and that's in case there's a gilthead passing by. We're surrounded by rocks here, really, different bits of reef, so why wouldn't everyone swimming in around there? I'm determined to get a gilthead in Kerry. There's been a few. Davy Hutch had one back in Dingle, a monster of a one, so I would really like to get one of those. And now what I'm about to do next is one of my favourite things to do. I'm going to cast over my own line. Not on purpose, mind you, but it just always happens. And if I keep saying everywhere I go it looks like it could hold a gilthead, then eventually I'll get one and I look like I'm right. No one was watching the light rod. What happened there, lads? There was the warning. Lugworm gone. I just did line drop down there. But the lugworm was gone off of it, so I don't know what you call that. Excitement? Misplaced excitement. Excuse me. Misplaced excitement. What? Nevertheless. Go high this time. That was a poor cast. Even by my standards, that was poor. But all we can do now is just fish away hard. See what happens. That one that's on the supply in there now is mad to get into the rock. Or into the wheel, I should say. So, get this baited up quickly and straight out again. That's a stringy weed out there, which is a bit annoying, but not the end of the world. Everyone here has been out in days that you've been completely weeded off, so can't moan too much about a small bit. What I do notice here is this rig is the middle hook is really wrapped up. Now, it didn't look like there was anything actually on it, but it is really. So usually, oh no, maybe it might have popped off in the cast. Before I go too far, short of combs into it, that's probably most likely what happened. Put a big eel on the bottom. Hopefully get something in here. I was definitely grateful for that eel to show up earlier on. There's been a few lads fishing here and they had strap congers. Didn't have any rays here, but one of the lads, Jason Ryan, had a big undulate here not so long ago. So, well, in this area at least anyway. So hopefully there's another one around for me. Now the beauty of using the fish baits and there not being crab around, or a whole pile of crab around, is that you can leave them out a bit longer. So that's what lets me fish the 3 rods. Plus, we don't have the surf that we usually get hammered with here. Flying in and out. Which makes it nice. Makes it a nice change. Oh, and over this side of the bay, there's been a good few turbot caught in the last year, I suppose. Nice turbot too, like not little small ones. So fishing with eels and mackerel gives you the opportunity to get one of these bigger fish that you wouldn't normally get outside of, the lug fishing is usually just a bass, really, big flounders, that kind of stuff. But when you start using mackerel and eels, fish baits, then you start getting into the territory where you can get a big fish out of it. I think anyway. Yeah, I think the majority of my stingrays that I saw are about to be exposed as rocks. I still can't believe how quiet the beach is. I'm certain that there'd be a pile of people around today. It always makes me nervous when I see dogs like that. I know, could you see the dog off the leash? And I just had thrown my trace down. I didn't see him, but I don't see his owner either anywhere near him. It's possibly her about 400 yards up the beach. The last thing that you want is to get a dog stuck in your rig. It's an awful feeling to see it, and there's inevitably going to be blame afterwards. So I try and avoid that, obviously, as long as possible, as much as possible. That is the last thing anyone needs to be dealing with. Let's see a few of the comments. Kieran, the ungulates, I've seen one caught on the 2nd of January. I've had them myself on the pier around the first week or second week in December. So there's always a couple hang around, but it's very hard to go and locate them. Realistically, I think you're looking at September, maybe the end of September, to realistically go and say I have a good chance of getting one, you know. I think personally that they do a bit of feeding up and they head off out then after that. But even though it's a really shallow bay, it is quite a big expanse of a bay. So trying to figure out where those few fish might be holed up, that's where the real tough stuff comes into it. But I wouldn't be delaying. It's been slow on the ungulates, but they are around, you know. But I wouldn't be waiting and waiting and waiting. Yeah, nice one, bud. Nice one, Paul. Yeah. Yeah, I see there's a few rocks there, but there was definitely a few stingers when we arrived. I'm doubling down on that, which makes it all the more disappointing that we didn't manage to get one out. There does seem to be a good few small crab in close, so we'll change up the baits. Hopefully pick up one. Very simple trace I'm using, 2-hook flapper, lug on the bottom, popped up maddies on the top. Did we can't pick something up? That was a close one. He stood in the weed and the hook flew up. What I'm going to do is I'm going to push these rods down closer to the water. Stay out of that little bit of weed that's on the edge. Not very severe, so it's not the end of the world. But I do it. I use the car as an old rod stand. The other one down. Now we'll get the mobile tackle box down. I don't know where we're at now with it, with the whole lot. Obviously a few fish would be nice, but it doesn't seem to be happening for me. Well, I'm over on Derrymore side. I just had an eel at the car park and I've moved down, but it's a drop in tide, so not overly confident. It does look really good here though. Obviously the sunshine is getting a bit bright, but there's no reason that there's not a few dogs or rays in and around this area. Like off to the left, I don't know, can you see the darkness in the water? You can see a bit of flatness. That's all a weed bank and rock. So it's rock and weed, sand, rock, a lot of sand here, and then weed and rock on the far side of it. So this is kind of what you need to find, like plenty of areas for food to blow into. I think the drop in tide wouldn't be my number one choice for this area, but here we are. I'd more aim towards the coming tide, with the idea that the fish would be coming flooding into the gullies and in amongst the rocks. But I am hopeful still. most days when I fish like this and there's nothing happening, I tell myself it's because there's a real big fish around the place and it's scaring off the small ones. So feel free to use that one for yourselves in future. Nice small lug baits. That's what I have on the right rod. There we go. I think I'm going to put out two big, look at that for a mackerel. I'm going to put out two big mackerel baits on this one and just leave them out there. I am starting to run out of bait, unfortunately. But I'm going to put two real big slabs of mackerel out here now. A slab being an official measurement of mackerel bait. I'll show you what I mean here. Nice and bound up. I see Ian there, the dingle danglers. One slab. How many of you lads are coming over, Ian? Or the pairs is on the 19th to the 23rd or something around that time. There's a serious fixtures pile up coming. The pairs is on, then the Jimmy Smith, which is the All Ireland Open, is on the 24th of September. Then the 1st of October there's the fish-offs for the Home Nations team for Wales. Unfortunately didn't make the cut for that one, which is disappointing. But there's also the fish-offs for Italy are coming up on the 24th of October or in and around that at that time. So I'm really looking forward to that. Really can't wait to have a crack at that. Even though I don't know about going to Benone. Love-hate. I don't think this is a fish, but it looks very heavy. As I said, I don't think this is a fish, but it would be a shame if it was and you weren't watching. tree. And that was disappointing. That was disappointing. I did think there for a second that so when I started reeling, it did get right heavy. But obviously I just picked up 3 bits of weed, one after the other, and some stones. So that was disappointing. Jesus, yeah, 3 over 18 hours a day for 2 weeks, 37. Holy Jesus. That's a lot of fishing. That's some target, 37. Also a lot of fishing. I suppose it is achievable. Very achievable, in fact. There is a lot of fishing. And is that 37 between the 3 of you, or individually 37? My heart. Right in the middle of it, I put my finger into it and I got a pick off his thing. And of course, then you get paranoid these days about weavers. I thought one was just stuck in the weed. Well, that was an unwelcome surprise. I don't know what their technical name is, ghost crabs or skimmer crabs or something, but I know when you see them around on the Brandon beaches, it's just time to go home. There's lots of them when they are there. You're live. 11:40. Alright guys, I think I'm going to start packing up. We're giving it two solid hours now fishing, and it's been dire. So I'm going to conserve the energy, get home. There's been ice cream and play parks, playgrounds promised. So I'll start breaking down the rods. I'll start with a small rod. Don't think I baited up the second one there today. I do have a fresh bait. I want to cast out to get off today. Nice one. I have one more cast, so, and then that should bring us to a nice even 3 hours of chat, because it wasn't 3 hours of catching fish. I must say, I'm disappointed with how this has gone. I really thought that there'd be a good few more fish, not just one or two though. Especially moving down here. Aside from the drop in tide, like, it looks really nice. So it does. But if it just wasn't to be. So I'll give it those few minutes and head for the hills then, I think. But I am delighted to be back on the live streams and things. They're not easy to do, but it's an awful lot easier when you've got lads that are sound about it, like, that are commenting, and even though the fishing isn't lighting up the whole screen, like, it is sound, the lads to be sticking by it, you know. So I'll pack up the rigs as I'm chatting. I must have a look at that list, Ian, on Insta. Was there many taupe? Off the beach? No. I've had 3, but not one of them was worth writing home about or telling anyone about. Although actually that's not true. One of them I got while fishing for garfish, using about a thumbnail sized part of a sand eel on a size 8 hook with like 6 pound fluorocarbon snooze. So that was a memorable catch. I thought first that it was a couple of mackerel because it was really bouncing. And then I was like, oh, do you know what? I saw a fin. I was like, oh, it must be a bass. And the last thing in my head was it was going to be a taupe. So David got it on camera and all for me. I thought it was going to be maybe a couple of gars or a couple of mackerel. So I do have, that's one of the clips that I have. So I might just do a mashup of the fish captures. See what lads think. It really would have been nice to get a couple of extra fish though. But sure, look, I got drowned with it yesterday. Ended up fishing in a puddle for gobies like a maniac. I must say the best thing about having the live stream on and saying I was going to fish for another bit was I have to now take my time and put away my gear. So for once my gear will be put away correctly. It would be nice to end on a fish. Throw away my bait so I can't get any mad ideas on the way home. Get myself in trouble. Get a nice clean water in now for the lugs. Take out any of the damaged ones. Maybe a weekend if I do get out for a few casts. So there we go. It's an awful shame to be dumping those sand eels. But they'll be in an awful state come tomorrow. Just mush really. But now we're motoring along. Now, take out the middle one first. Strings of weed and stone. Pretty frustrating. There's the reel I was using there. The Shimano Aerotechnium MGS XSC. Super reel. A lot of reel for a lot of money for the reel, but if you added it up, it's only a few weekends out really. So if you're going to be spending it on pints and stuff, this will do you 10-15 years to look after it. Whereas those lovely pints will be gone after one night. That rig away now. Only the one fish, Chris, man. Just the one eel after about an hour. So maybe I should have came straight here and fished, but sure, look, what can you do? It was nice to get out. It was nice to chat to a few of you again. Next time I'll go to a beach with some fish in it. John, no, poor morning's work, to be honest. No, I fished up at the entrance. I had just a river eel, or silver eel, or green eel, whichever you call them. So that was pretty disappointing, to be honest. No, I did think I'd get a couple, you know. I suppose we always think we're going to get a couple, otherwise we wouldn't be coming out. But it didn't happen to me today, so it didn't. Just kind of pack it up now, nice and handy. Like I said, the promises of playgrounds and ice creams have been made, so keep that side of the house happy too. Seem to have lost a load of rig winders. That's quite annoying. I must say, I'm surprised by how poor it is though. 2 rods for good solid 2 hours, like. just thinking there, guys. Anywhere that you guys would like to see me try and fish a live stream? Um, anywhere in particular? Kieran, oh yeah, definitely the rain yesterday affected the first place, but it shouldn't really affect here. I think the dropping tide is more likely to be the issue here. In all honesty, like, it's easy to blame all a range of stuff, but really the dropping tide is about it. But see, I was torn between places that I can fish. Obviously, that have fish is what you want most, but have coverage for the 4G is the other thing. Chris, yeah, there's ways around it. I don't know. You do have to have 1,000 subs to stream live. But there is definitely, if you were to go searching, there is ways to go live without that. I think there might be a second app to do it. So you would go live through your YouTube, but it's not. I've never done it myself personally, but I think there is a way to do it. Yeah, Peter. We're going to be fishing the tide down in Barrow, but if it's day like this, then there's no problem. But I don't know the logistics. Would lads be bothered if they couldn't see? Or I couldn't chat obviously all the time because we'll be chasing the tide quite a distance, I think. So would lads be bothered if they couldn't see a lot of what was going on? I don't know. What do you reckon? I don't know about the coverage either, sir. What's that to be, guys? What's that to be? Long string of wheat. Like, there should be bass living in and amongst those long, feeding after small fish that are hiding in them, you know? So guys, thanks very much for tuning in. Like I said, it didn't go to plan really. Ian, yeah, throw big. Have you ever got the tourneys off of that? I don't know, have you ever had the Tornies? I've had a couple of nice turbot off of there. Mackerel. I've had a lot of mackerel. It looks like such an interesting venue. So it does. It really looks like there could be anything on it. I would like to encounter some of those big Tornies that I used to read about when I was young. So it is. So I should say. But oh, yeah. Kieran, yeah, definitely, man. I do take guys out from time to time. I don't really advertise it a whole pile, just because you tend to get a lot of guys that want to talk a lot about it, but don't actually want to hire you for the day's guiding or that kind of thing, you know. So it tends to get a bit frustrating if you do it, like, you know. Especially with guys that want to just talk about it, and then you make all the plans, you make all the arrangements, you book off the time, and then there's always an excuse, really. So there is. But yeah, if anyone is interested, give us a shout there on Facebook, or the Facebook page is the best one. Chris O'Sullivan Fishing. Oh, and I stuck myself at the hook. That's easy to get organised that way. So it is. Brian, yeah, can you? I never knew that. I know what they could at one stage, and then they changed it. You had to have 1,000 subs, so they must have obviously changed it again. But that's good to hear, because there's a good few lads, you know, putting a bit of effort in it, and it is a live stream is nice to be able to do. You can have the interactions, you know, up to speed interactions, not just comments after the video, and plus it saves and all that editing, and that's just a hardship. Right, guys, 2 hours 53 minutes. Unfortunately, didn't light the place up, so I didn't. Sorry about that, lads. Tralee is back by Dingle. It's on the main road back on your left, around Menard there, just past Menard and all those places. Beautiful beach, steep beach, deep water, nice crashing wave. Like you said, when you hit it right, I'd say it's incredible. I've only ever had a few big turbot off of it, alright, which is class, but I've never had one of those magic days that have people writing about the place. But it looks class though. Chris Angler, I've caught them only on bait, but I can't see why you wouldn't catch them off there on feathers. But that was in the evening in September. It wasn't. I don't think that's something that you go to do in order to get mackerel, you know. I think it's more like it just happens if they're kind of in there. I don't think it's a place. It's not like Kells or Feenit or Brandon where you can go and actually target them, you know. Brian, yeah, that's a weird one. I wonder, is it in his settings or something like that? YouTube is a weird thing though. Like, some videos you'd expect to do incredibly well, and they just bomb, and other ones then are that you don't expect. Like I think my most popular video is the Weaver one, and I only did that off the cuff. Like, I wasn't even really planning on it, and I just did it because I got a treble Weaver of all things, I think it was. So I just did that one. But look, I'm gonna go anyway. Brian, I'm gonna have a look at your channel there and drop you a subscribe as well. So for the lads that have the video or the channels on here, drop a comment in the comment section of this, and hopefully pick up a few subs. I really wish the comments would stay on the screen. Alright guys, I'm gonna clip off here. So thanks again for watching, and next time there'll be more fish, I hope anyway.